Hello, Pisces. All right. So we are asking the question, where should you be directing or focusing your attention and energy? Okay. Where should you be directing your attention and focus and energy? Where should you be directing your attention? Okay. What needs your attention right now? Where should you be putting your energy right now? Where should Pisces be focusing their energy right now? Okay, where should Pisces be focusing their energy right now? Okay, Pisces. So we have the World, the Ten of Water. Let me move this down a little bit, which is the equivalent of the Ten of Cups, Seven of Air, Three of Earth, which is Three of Pentacles, and Temptation, which would be the equivalent of the Devil card. Okay, so let's look at the World. Interesting. So I feel like the World is showing up here with the planets in alignment, and then there's the sun here, and there's like a keyhole in the sun, you know, so there's some unlocking of the sun here with the World card. Okay, the sun is like illumination, it's joy, it's clarity. And then we have the Ten of Water, which is the Ten of Cups, and this Buddha is just so happy. He's the happy Buddha. He's, you know, nothing can go wrong. The water's a little rough and splashing in the background, but he's unfazed by it. And then there's these roses showing up, and roses represent beauty, you know? All right. Okay. And then we have the Seven of Air, which would be the equivalent of the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is sometimes, you know, considered like kind of like a sneaky or tricky energy. I like to think of it really more as like thinking outside of the box. Here I feel like there's all these different birds showing up, and so, you know, whereas most of the cards, the swords are represented like by these doves, I feel like there's a combination of different birds showing up, and so it's almost like saying, you know, the thing that you need, right? Because if it's an energy of kind of like thinking outside of the box, it's like the thing that you need is actually, you know, it doesn't necessarily look like what you think it's gonna look like. Okay. And then we have the Three of Earth, which is the Three of Coins, which, you know, typically would be an energy of like working together, community, collaboration. But for her, in this particular card, I'm just kind of feeling this as like foresight. I feel like she's got her hand on her forehead, like she's looking out to the future, you know? So it's like foresight. Okay. And then Temptation is actually would be representative of the card of the Devil. And temptation really here is just about like being mindful of attachment, right? Like attachment to outcome, attachment to people, attachment to places, but not just your attachment, but other people's attachment, possibly to you and the things that you might provide. And, you know, just really it's about like knowing that, you know, there's not really freedom in attachment, okay? There's secure attachment, which is actually an understanding that things come and go, you know? So it's kind of like knowing that the one thing that will always be present is you. Okay. All right. So let's put it all together and see what we come up with. Okay. So the question is, where should you be directing or focusing your attention or energy this month? Okay. You know, I feel like this is the central energy. So I do feel like it's important for you to really direct your attention to things surprising you, right? To things coming in packages that you wouldn't expect. So, you know, you're expecting, I don't know, you're expecting an Amazon package and it actually arrives gift wrapped with a bow instead of the typical, you know, brown bag, right? And so you're like, oh, what's this? It's not mine, you know, and you just kind of put it aside and you're like, where's my package? It didn't arrive yet because you're looking for this brown Amazon wrapping package, but your package is sitting there the whole time, right? It's just that it's wrapped up differently. It's wrapped up nicely and you weren't expecting it to look like that. And so you don't think it's yours. So I would say, like, really focus your attention on things showing up looking different than you would expect. Okay? Because otherwise you might miss something important. Okay? And you know, I kind of feel like, you know, that's related to the world is really about, like, you know, going through a new cycle. Okay. So like the world in a year, right, will make a revolution around the sun. And then we call that a new year, a new calendar year. It made one revolution around the sun. And people like to set like all these New Year's resolutions and all of these things because they feel like it's a closing of one cycle, it's a closing of the year and an opening of a new cycle, right? A new year. And so that's what the world really represents here for you. It's like something big, right? It doesn't have to be a year because we're not thinking in terms of like linear time, but something big has closed out for you. It's like you've learned a lesson and that lesson is now closed. It's now over. That chapter is now done, right? It's like it's done. You've completed that chapter. You're in school, you're learning about a particular thing. You know, chapter 7 has been all about, I don't know, birth and death and rebirth or whatever. And you've learned that lesson and now it's closed out. And now a new lesson is ready to come in and be present for you. Okay, that's what the world energy is about. But sometimes, and it's this keyhole here within the sun that is kind of directing my attention to this. Sometimes the lesson is over, but it kind of cycles back around just to give you a little test to say, you sure you learned this lesson? You know, so if the lesson perhaps is about attachment and you've learned something about attachment, guess what? A little test cycles back around and, you know, to kind of give you the opportunity to be like, oh no, I've learned that lesson already. I'm not going there, right? So just keep that in mind because that may show up in this way, right? In some package that you're not expecting it to look a certain way, but out inside the package is the thing. It's just the outside wrapping is different. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But also the big energy is still about closing out the cycle and beginning a new cycle. And I feel like this closing of this cycle is really, and this new cycle is really going to be about much more like lightness, much more happiness, much more enjoyment, much more creativity. Yeah, just a lot of feel good stuff here, especially with the 10 of water coming through. Okay. But I'm also feeling that, you know, make sure that, like, you know, this feel good stuff, right? You know, you might look at it as financial abundance. Okay. um, just remember that it may come wrapped up in this package that doesn't look the way you expect it to look. Okay, so whatever it is, financial security, a relationship, a friendship, a job, just remember it's like there's all of this beautiful stuff here, right? Again, roses represent beauty. So there's all this beauty here, but you may not see it as that unless you're really looking, okay? It may come wrapped up in a package that is not what you're expecting. Okay, so in a relationship, this could look like, so say you're single and a new person comes in, and this new person could be very different from what you have typically gone for, right? And so, like, on the surface, they may look like, oh, you know, they're techie, they're like, you know, just really, really smart and kind of, you know, I like somebody more in their body, likes to work out, likes to, you know, go hiking. But this person, right, you're seeing them as this certain package, right? Like they're wrapped up in like this techie package or whatever. But inside, there's something at the core that you've been asking for, that you've been wanting, okay? That is special and beautiful and just like brings in all of this happiness, okay? For a job, it might be like, oh, you're offered this job, but this job is like, you know, like it's not really what I wanted to be doing. Like you know, I'm not really a customer service person, and I don't know. But behind that packaging of customer service role is actually like an opportunity to really help people, you know? And so again, so my point is just really that this beauty, right? These roses here, just keep in mind that it may come forward wrapped in a different package, wrapped in a package that doesn't necessarily look like what you are, you know, wanting, okay, what you've asked for, okay. And then we have the Three of Earth, and again, you know, she's just like, I feel this energy of looking, right? Like I feel like she's got her hand up to her head, and she's to her forehead, and she's just like looking out into the distance, looking out into the future. And I just feel, again, you know, like this is the core energy here, right? This is where should you be directing or focusing your attention. You should be directing or focusing your attention on things not looking like you think they're supposed to look like, or you think that they're gonna look like, okay? And this is like, even, you know, even in the future, even you know, looking out towards something that you know, that you're kind of like putting out there. You may not be ready for it yet, but you're like putting it out there, like same way, like remember this, you know. That's kind of what I'm feeling like remember this, okay? And again, I feel like this whole idea of temptation just fits in along with all of this, but in the reverse. It's almost like, okay, so better things, right, can come in these packages that, you know, that you weren't expecting, right? They can be even better than what they look like on the surface, but keep in mind also that sometimes things might come in these really beautiful packages, like ornately wrapped, like they're checking all the boxes on the surface, but beneath, it's really not what you wanted, right? So in a relationship, for example, say you do get that, you really like the people who are more in their bodies. They take good care of their bodies. They're all about nutrition and working out, and that kind of thing. And you find that, but then when you unwrap that package, the thing that you really, that really matters to you, or that is really actually valuable to you, it's not there, right? And I feel like that's what the temptation card is saying. It's like, you may be tempted, right? It looks good on the surface, like this apple here, like, looks delicious, but when you bite into it, it's actually the thing that puts you to sleep, that keeps you in a state of being blind and being unaware. Okay. All right. So Pisces, that is the message for you. I hope it is communicated clearly. Yeah, do me a favor, like, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I really want to establish community here. Okay. All right. Love you lots. Aloha.